Welcome back. You're watching Opening Fire for the Nifty. After that steep plunge that we've seen, it's actually consolidated now. So down about more than 0.5% at this juncture, under 6,000 by a good margin, 59.85. Sensex is also lower by more than 100 odd points at 20,147, with the banks giving up more steam. 10,163 is where the Bank Nifty is currently trading at. Top losers up on your screen. BHEL is down 3 1/4. JP Associates is down 3 1/30. CS is looking weak today. DLF HCL Tech is down at 1372. L&T is also down. It's a larger name, a larger weighted stock. ICICI Bank's down 1% plus. Asian Paints is also looking weak. That's the currency for you, which is trading in the green, at least at this point. 62.51 to the dollar is where it's at. Ajay Bodke, Head Investment Strategy and Advisory, Prabhudas Leeladhar, is joining in right now. Ajay, thanks very much for taking out the time. What's your initial sense as to what's happening in the markets currently?
I think there is a problem with the audio. Would you mind please repeating the question?
Yeah, I was asking you, what's your sense with regards to, how are you dissecting the markets currently as to what's happening?
Yeah, I think the markets are poised at a very crucial juncture. If you look at some of the tailwinds that the market has, especially on the external sector, I think we are in a far better position than what we were 6 months back, when the last time the panic had struck emerging markets between mid-May and September. I think there are 2 or 3 important things that have happened which are positive for Indian economy. One is the $34 billion mop-up that the RBI had ensured. More than 3-year maturity money that has come in through concessional swap arrangements has to an extent sheltered the rupee. When all the other emerging market currencies are wilting, we are seeing that the rupee has sort of been able to withstand the pressures. Also, I think for the last 6 months the exports have been growing in double digits. The trade deficit, which was $18 billion in April, has come down to roughly around $10 billion. And we are seeing that the current account deficit, which was the biggest bugbear that investors had at the beginning of the year, when people were expecting it to exceed $85 billion, we can safely say that it will be around 3% of GDP, between $50 and $55 billion. So I think on the external front, there is a great comfort that India has vis-a-vis other emerging markets. Inflation continues to remain unacceptably at high level, and that would constrain, in our view, RBI from adopting a more accommodative monetary stance going forward. Also, the political uncertainty in the run-up to the elections is also weighing on the minds of investors. What is also concerning is the populist stance that many parties are adopting. We are seeing that manifesting itself in cut in electricity tariffs in Delhi and Maharashtra, the agitations for cut in tolls that are paid for using expressways. So I think we need to curb sort of these kind of impulses, to otherwise that will have an impact on the market sentiment. And the current session also clearly looks out to be a washout, with no financial legislation like DTC or insurance. There's any hope of it being taken up. On the positives, I think global growth has bottomed out. 2.9% global growth in calendar year 13. IMF predicts will go up to 3.6%, and hence the tradable sector will be big beneficiary. IT, pharmaceuticals clearly would be leading, in my opinion, the performance over the next 12 months period. And the 4.5 lakh crores of projects that have been cleared by the government, I think they should start showing on the ground some sort of an improvement in aggregate demand for infrastructure companies with a lag of a quarter or two. So I think on the balance, I would feel that the markets are currently valued at 13 times 1 year forward. Last 10 years average is 14.5 times. So so let's not be too pessimistic. The markets are currently under pressure only because of global cues. But otherwise, we are fairly in a position where one can look at around 5 to 7% rally in the medium term. But the breakout from 6,300 levels will clearly be dependent on what kind of dispensation ascends to the throne in Delhi.
All right. While you've said, you've given us a view on the market as a whole and what's likely to happen, just the fact that, recently we've seen thinning out of the foreign money that's been so far leading the market. So at this juncture, with the taper in place, do you see that as a problem going forward?
I'm so sorry. I think there is a tremendous problem with the audio quality. I'm so sorry. You'll have to repeat the question again.
Yeah. I was asking you about, the foreign money, the fund flow situation, and do you see that improving? Because of late you've been seeing that thinning out.
Yeah, I think the foreign fund flows have sort of, been coming off. I think from January has seen less than $100 million of net equities from FI side. And FIs are the determinants of the fate of the market. The last I saw that they constituted 22% of total market cap of India. And if you were to look at the free float market cap, it's a far higher number. Domestics, institutions, both insurance and mutual funds have been on the sidelines and they have been net sellers. And little investors have not really been participating in large numbers. So I think the fate of the market over the next 12 months clearly will be determined by what kind of FI flows come in. And with the tapering continuing in America, and our expectation is that by the end of the current calendar year, we should be through with the tapering. I think that sort of will be one of the very big determinants about how the market does. But as I said in reply to the previous question, we clearly would be better off vis-a-vis the other emerging markets. And hence, I think India, in our opinion, should outperform other emerging markets over the next 12 months.
Okay. Ajay, how have you read into the earnings season so far?
Yeah, I think the earnings seasons has been a mixed bag. We've seen a few of the PSU banks posting quite not so good numbers. I think companies like BOI, Allahabad Bank. At the same time, I think some of the private sector banks have been on slightly better footing. And the concern in banking, especially the PSU banking, for me, remains the bad asset problems. In September, the system as a whole had 2.5 lakh crores of NPAs, which is expected to swell to 3 lakh crores by March 2014. And if you add 4 lakh crores of restructured assets, we are looking at roughly around 7 lakh crores of figure of restructured assets and NPAs. And it will take some time for the economy, after the economy picks up, for the NPA problems to unbound. So PSU banking will continue to remain, in our opinion, a problem area. Private sector banks like Axis, ICICI in the large cap space, and in the mid cap space, banks like Yes Bank and ING Vysya Bank would be our preferred picks, along with Shriram Transport.
Okay. Anything aside from financials that you're liking, even in the mid cap space, if you want to venture there?
Sorry?
Your picks aside from financials, which you just mentioned?
Yeah, I mentioned financials. I mentioned in the mid-cap space, Yes Bank, ING Bank and Shriram Transport. And the large caps, our preference is Axis Bank and ICICI Bank.
All right, got that. Ajay, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate you taking out the time. Sorry, we got you on a slightly weak line. That's Ajay Bodke there, Prabhudas Leeladhar, with his views on the market and some stock ideas. We're going to take a short break on that one. Be right back.